Hey traders, Marcello here, founder of the Day Trading Academy. Today we're going to be answering your questions about transitioning into a full-time trader. If you guys have any other questions, don't forget to mark them with hashtag AskMarcello. You can follow me on Instagram, Wandering Trader, or my name, Marcello Arrambide, or here on YouTube, wherever you guys want to leave the questions. And obviously don't forget to subscribe, because I love to be able to share my experience with you guys in this industry, in the financial markets, learning, trading, teaching others, losing money, making money, all that good stuff. So let me know if you guys have any questions on that. Today we have a question from somebody named Bed and Breakfast Fan. I'm just going to call you Bed. And it's actually a really good question. It's kind of three questions in one, and it's a really profound, kind of a very, very good question.
How do you determine the ratio of allocating your earnings? Increase your trading bankroll versus cash out for expenses savings. Obviously, trading full-time is not realistic for everyone. But the more prepared someone is, the better the chances of making it a viable income source.
So, super good question. I in this industry, getting to know a lot of traders that are teachers, that are traders, being able to teach a ton of students over kind of this long career that I've had in this industry, learning how to trade, actually trading, sacrificing my trading for others. I think that, in my personal opinion, anyone can really learn how to do this. The only problem is most people think it's going to take, it's going to be a second. You're going to buy a course, and on Monday you're going to become a millionaire. And unfortunately, it doesn't work that way, because day trading really isn't about making money per se. Trading is more about managing your emotions and your psychology. So while I do believe that anyone can actually learn how to do this, I think that most people fail because they're not willing, one, to change, and two, they're not willing to admit or challenge themselves, however you want to phrase it, to manage their own emotions. So that's really why, in my opinion, most people fail, because while you can make a lot of money in this business, I think most people don't talk about the money that you can lose. And the vast majority of traders do lose a ton of money. And obviously I do these videos to be able to try to help you guys to have you guys not make the same mistakes that I did, right? Taking out $25,000 in student loans, losing it in a month. I've done a video about my really, really huge losses that I've had. So the idea is to be able to help you with that. I really love this question, Bed. The first thing about startup costs. So one of the things, I have an academy. Obviously, it's a business. I use it as a way to be able to continue to improve the traders that we have, because in my opinion, day trading is a zero-sum game, which basically means that if someone is losing money, the other person is winning money. And the majority of retail day traders, which are people like you and I that don't have a lot of money, we start accounts with maybe $500, $1,000, a little bit more. It's really hard for us to compete, right? So for me, it's really better for us to work in a team, like a mastermind, if you will, because we're able to improve as a group and then continue to get better as the markets continue to change, because in my opinion, they're really significantly manipulated at the moment. So the reason why I kind of start up with that, to be able to talk to you about the startup costs, is because at the end of the day, I think I'm one of the only people that will actually be honest with you and tell you can learn for free. You don't have to invest $10,000, $20,000 to buy a program or learn from somebody. You can do it 100% free if you guys want. Hop on Google. All the information is there. The majority of indicators that you guys are going to find in the world are completely free. They're invented 20, 30 years ago. The only challenge, obviously, is going to be that, on one website, this is the best trader in the world, $1 million, blah, 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 blah. And then on the other side, it's, no, he's a fraud. He's never made a trade in his life. He makes money from selling courses, etc., etc., etc. So it's gonna take you some time if you guys want to learn for free to know, well, what is the truth, what is false, what can I use, how to combine it, how to apply, because obviously there's a ton of stuff online that really isn't true, and there's a ton of stuff that is really false. So keep that in mind. Now, with that said, you're gonna need trading capital, right? Now, you can start day trading with stocks with a minimum of $500, but you're going to have to hold that position for more than one day. You can open up an account, if I'm not mistaken, with Forex for $100, $50. You can open up an account with binary options with $50, $100. I would not recommend Forex or binary options. Binary options because of all the fraud. Right now in Europe, they're actually illegal. Europeans can't trade binary options anymore because about a month ago, they literally made it illegal. CFDs are way too manipulated in my opinion. They're actually illegal in the United States. If you guys don't know what CFDs are, they're basically contracts for difference. It's a different kind of futures. I would personally recommend futures for you guys because the minimum is $1,000 and you can make a lot more money with less. With Forex and stocks, you literally have to borrow the money to get a lot more money to have leverage, right? If you're gonna buy one stock from Apple, let's say that it costs $100, you buy it for $100, it goes up $1, you make $1, right? If you wanna buy two Apple stocks, two stocks of Apple. I've been doing videos in Spanish this whole day, so I'm getting a little bit confused. But if you want to buy two stocks of Apple, you need $200 if each are at $100. If you only have $100, what do? You borrow money from the broker, right? And this happens with Forex and stocks. So you're going to borrow money and pay interest on that. If you lose the money, it's a loan. You have to pay it back with interest. That doesn't happen in futures. With futures, you literally have a lot more leverage without having to borrow money, right? And you need a lot more capital to be able to trade with to be able to make a lot more money. So in my opinion, for you guys, I obviously teach people on futures, full disclosure, but I do also recommend stocks because the minimum is $500. So minimum, I'd say $500, $1,000 for your first question, which is what are the startup costs? How much runway should you have for living expenses? So this depends on how much of a baller you want to be, Ben. Some of you guys want to have, billion-dollar penthouses and drive fancy cars, and you guys take out all this debt to be able to impress the women of your friends, and all that stuff really isn't important. Me personally, when I had the opportunity to buy a Mercedes-Benz, instead of buying a Benz, I bought a Honda Civic Si, a 2016 Honda Civic. 2016? No, 2006. That was years ago. Because I don't think it's that important to kind of, I'm sure you guys see a lot of my videos on YouTube. I don't wear Rolexes. I'm not some $1,000,000 trader because that to me isn't the most important thing in the world, and it shouldn't be the most important thing for you guys either. And I'm going to explain to you guys in another video why. I'm going to talk about why day trading isn't about having or making $1,000,000. So if you are a humble, if you're single, you can move to Thailand. You can live the dream for $200, $300 a month. So in reality, how much money do you need for living expenses? Not that much. So I think this is really exclusive or kind of individual, and obviously we need to be honest with ourselves about what kind of lifestyle we want to live. Now, what I would recommend is having some kind of wiggle room, whatever your expenses are or whatever your monthly expenses are going to be. I would recommend having a 2 or 3 month kind of pillow, because traders do lose money, even though a lot of people in the industry aren't going to admit it. I've had traders, very personal friends of mine that have gotten into fights, potential divorces, or a divorce where it literally just messed them up in the head and they didn't make money for months. So I would highly recommend having a pillow, a cushion of 2 or 3 or 4 months to make sure that if you lose money for a month or two, you still have a little bit of wiggle room and you don't have to force yourself to make money. Because when you have the pressure of making money in the market, that's one of the most difficult things to do, because then you're forced to make bad decisions. And when you make bad decisions, you obviously you lose money in the market because you have the pressure of making money rather than just having the ability or making good decisions in the market. Possible bankroll for downtrends, bad days and weeks. I think I answered that question for you, Ben. How do you determine the ratio of allocating your earnings, increasing your trading bankroll versus cash out for expenses and savings? So this is something that's a little bit different with Forex and stocks. The first thing is the ratio of allocating your earnings, because the majority of people, because they have to do their homework, for example, in stocks, a lot of people have to screen stocks, which basically means that before they trade or the day before, they have to spend 15, 20 minutes actually looking at a group of 8 or 10 stocks to be able to trade. And then they have to do a percentage of allocation for risk about what percentage of their account they're going to actually put in to one specific stock. In Forex, it's the same thing. Forex, they complicate the process with, I need to watch 8 different markets: Euro USD, USD yen, yen dollar Australia, etc., etc. and then you have to do the same calculations. I prefer that people learn on futures because there's been a university study done at Harvard by a PhD for 15 years, a doctor, that basically found out that after 15 years, anybody who tries to do two things at once, their effectiveness goes down by 40%. So another reason why I recommend futures is because you don't have to trade 2 or 3 or 5 or 10 or 20 markets. You don't have to do any research the day before either. You can literally specialize on one market, and all of that energy that goes into paying attention to all these markets or doing all this homework, you're literally going to just pay attention to one market. And all that mental capacity is going to be released for you to focus on learning how to trade. So I would, in terms of kind of the other question of allocating the amount of money you're going to make monthly, if you have that kind of 2, 3, 4, 5 month cushion that I talked about, it's literally just about making good decisions. Because if you make good decisions, you obviously are going to make money. I think it's obvious that you can make $1 billion, make all this money trading, but I do want everybody to know that you can lose a lot of money trading as well. But what you have to do is you have to separate the emotion from the decisions. And most people don't talk about that, right? Trading is 85-90% psychology, 10-15% technicals. So when you think about making money, there's an emotion involved with that. And when there's an emotion involved with that, you're literally going to lose money because you're thinking about money, which you're nervous to make or you don't want to lose. When you only think about making good decisions, your goal shouldn't be to make a certain amount of money every month. Your goal should be just to make good decisions. And if you make good decisions, the money will come. Most professional traders that I have trained, whether it's the 10-year-old kid we have in Argentina or the 14-year-old kid in Colombia or the $375 million hedge fund that we not taught, but we trained to use our techniques, James Kensington. Or even, there's another trader named Jay out of Philadelphia who was managing $50 million. It doesn't matter who you are, you have to simplify the process. And so it's obvious you can make a lot of money trading. You have to make the right decisions, and then once you make the right decisions, then the money's going to come. So in the beginning, you're going to focus on making a certain amount of money every day. A lot of you guys are with your calculator today. Oh, if I made $100 today, 100 by 365 is going to be this much, and then I add positions, and right? Where what you guys should think about is, well, it doesn't matter if I make $100 or $1,000 or $1. It's really about consistency. Because if you're able to make $1 a day, eventually you're going to make $2 a day, then eventually you're going to make $5 a day, and then 10, and then 50, and then 100, and then obviously you can make a ton of money every day. But be very careful, because if you focus on making a certain amount of money every day, which is what you're asking me about the allocating of your earnings, then you're going to always make decisions with an emotional state. And if you make decisions in an emotional state, you're going to have a problem because you're making money based on your emotions, not the right analytical decision in the market. Does that make sense, my man? So that's what I would recommend. So don't pressure yourself to make a certain amount of money. Focus on making the right decision, and the money will come, right? Because it's a lot easier to lose money in the market than it is to make money in the market. Obviously, trading full-time is not realistic for everyone, but I think I kind of already may answer this question. I personally believe, with the experience that I have, that anyone can learn how to do this. Unfortunately, most people aren't willing to sacrifice what they have to in order to really learn how to do it. So most people don't want to change. Most people don't want to take the time to take it serious. I have a lot of guys that actually entered the program and 3 months go by and they haven't done anything. So keep that in mind, all right? This industry, it takes a lot of work. You can lose an absolute shitload of money, excuse my French, but I want to make sure that you guys actually really understand that part, because I've talked a lot in these past few years about the money that you can lose, and most people don't talk about that. They only talk about, buy this course, you can make $1 million tomorrow, and that's not really what this business is about. So let me know if you guys have any other questions. I really, really love this. Really profundo is in Spanish. Profound is not the right translation. In-depth question I really, really like. So let me know if you guys have any other questions. #AskMarcello. And don't forget to subscribe.